everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the vlog. So in today's episode we are going to try and sort out the airbags issue that we had last week, where we had 52 airbag issues. So yeah, let's not even bother doing an intro, let's get right into it. So we're going to start off by fitting the bumpers, or start to fit the bumper in the car and sort out the dashboard, because we're now on the path to rebuilding. We've stripped down the car, we've got all the issues, and we've got a number of issues with this car, as you can imagine, and now is the time to start putting the car back together. So let's do that now by dressing the bumper. Right, so this is the old dashboard. You can clearly see that by the airbag. Now I just need to take out this control. This is basically the new headlight control, or actually it's not actually a control, it's just a dashboard, because everything's now done on the actual there's no switch for the headlight. The headlight's on all the time, so we'll just put that into place into here. Here we are. So that's done, and we just need to connect up, move that here, that pipe down there, which is the airflow. So let me just maneuver the dashboard one-handed. You'd have thought I'd be getting good at doing one-handed dashboarding after been doing it for a number of years, but sadly no. Right, so basically it's just an air duct from the old car. This car didn't have it, so we just need to put this back in, and that goes in something like that. There we go. Let's turn this upside down. There we go. Right, so this literally plugs straight in. Here we go. Alright, that's plugged in there. That's plugged in there. And just down here as well. That's it. Done. So we need to just put the airbag in. The airbag goes into here, and then we can put this back into the car. So that's not going to be next week's job. Next week's job, we're going to sort out the front. We're going to be putting the front of the car back in place. So I've got a new front there, and we need to dress that. So we'll dress that up here. Okay, so here we're looking at the old bumper. We've just stripped all the bits, done a surplus to requirements, bits that we need. We've got this broken connection here, which we're going to salvage, so I'm going to de-pin that. We've got a broken wire, but we've got these lights. We have replaced them, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to salvage the bolts, because we need those for the replacement. So we'll get the replacement bonnet up here, and we'll start fitting the radar onto it so that we can fit that onto the car. This is the replacement bumper, and as you can see, it's in much better condition. Now it does need a little bit of work on the front. It needs painting, basically. It will polish up well, but it does need a little bit of treatment. So we'll just wire this up in preparation for next week, and then I think we can call it a day. So that was pretty straightforward. So we got our sensors in. Some of the grab claws are missing, so it's not grabbing, but that's fine. It really isn't an issue when it's in the car, as long as we've got some of them in place, and some of them are, and I can retrieve these ones from the actual damaged bumper. Hence the reason why you always keep your old bumpers, or your old stuff. Here we got the broken wire, which we know about, what we just explained, and then this one obviously goes into the good one. We'll keep like this so that we know which one goes where. That's always a good strategy that works for me. Right, okay, so next week we'll be able to get the front end of the car sorted, and that's going to push us a little further, make the car start to look like a car. Right, so if you are familiar with my vlogs, then you will know in the past that I often will clear my airbag codes just using VCDS or OBD11. Then when we tried to clear them on this car last week, we weren't able to clear them, and I found out the reason why. So on modern day VWs, what Volkswagen have done is, if more than 3 airbags are deployed, then basically the ECU, the airbag ECU, is rendered useless. You've got to replace it. That's what it says in the manual, so you have to replace it. And that's the reason why we can't clear the code, because basically it locks out the ECU. So we need to take it out. Normally you would buy a new one, you have to get it coded, etc, etc, and it's something that VW won't do for you as a service. So we're going to send ours away, because our friends at the airbag team, they think that they can actually do it. So we're going to send it away, and if they can't do it, they can supply me with a new airbag ECU, and then we'll be able to then clear the code, because all the airbags have been replaced, but we can't do anything because the ECU is locked out. So we're going to take that out, and that means taking out the center console, something that I thought I would be able to avoid, but looks like we're going to have to do it anyway. Fortunately, the iD3 removing the center console is really simple, so let's get this out. Right, so airbag ECU is now out. This was a complete nightmare to get out, and it wasn't in the location where VW said it would be. It was in somewhere else, which was difficult, but anyway, it's out now and on its way to our friends at the airbag team to see if they can repair it.
3 days later,
and here it is. 4 days later, our airbag is back from the ECU, the airbag team, all done, and they have managed to clear the B2000 code. So this now should be ready to go back into the car, and then we should be able to see what airbag codes we've got left. So we'll fit this into the car. I'm not going to show you me fitting it. All I'm going to do is show you where it goes into the car, and you'll see how a nightmare it is to get this thing, or how difficult it was to get this thing out. Probably one of the most difficult jobs I've done, would you believe? But anyway, you'll see for yourself in about 2 seconds, so follow me now. Right, so this goes over here in this location. Pull this down. See where that yellow plug is? Down there. That's where this goes. And to get that in there, you gotta pull this back, fill it in there, and then down below there's about 3 screws, which you can't get with a spanner. Well, you can get with a spanner, but you can't get it with a ratchet, and you have to turn it, and you can't turn it by hand, so you got to literally turn with a spanner and do that. That's what I'm gonna have to go through, and it will take me what's the time now? 11:45. Let's see how long it'll take me to finish that.
a few moments later.
Okay, so we've actually got it in a lot quicker, but that's only because I've done 2 bolts and not 3, and that's taken what? Can you see that? 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes to do. It's just more complex than it needed to be. Anyway, let's move on. Right, we're going to now get our VCDS, plug it in. Actually no, we're going to use OBD11. We'll use OBD11, we'll plug it in, and then we'll see what codes we have. Actually, just a thought, before we plug in OBD11, I think we're going to put the central console back in, because otherwise we're not going to be able to get the ignition to work. Because I noticed when I took out the center console, it also unplugs the thing for the key. So the car will start to show that it can't see the key and it needs that. So let's get the center console back in. Might as well.
Check it.
Okay, so center console back in. I had one or two wires that were making it a bit difficult, but they're in now, so that's now back in. So now what we need to do is just plug in the ignition start cable, and that literally just plugs into that, something like that, and then we'll connect up the battery, and then we'll have a look and see what VCDS is saying. Right, so on screen now, what you should be seeing, we're going to check our airbags to see if we can clear our code. So we had 50, we've now got 35, as you can probably see. Let's see what those 35 are. We're going to clear them and see what comes back. So we've had the airbag is now fitted in. So let's just do a clear. And we've already come back with 3. So we've got 3 airbag faults. That's really good. I'm pleased with that. So that's progress. So let's just see what those 3 airbag codes are. So CAN bus error receive. It's not really telling us much, but pretty much, yeah, there's nothing really, no real information on that. But the main thing is, it's not showing us any airbag errors, which it was before, which is really good, and that is a result. Right, that means we can actually put the dashboard back together, and then we can work out what those codes are later. But I'm really pleased. Thank you, airbag team, you've done a fantastic job. We've been able to clear all this. So it means this stuff here that's hanging loose because we don't know whether it's cleared or not has been fixed. So let's get them back together. Whoa, 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 not too fast. We still got some airbag codes. So I just did a refresh and it's come back with 15. So let's just see what the 15 are. So passenger side signal open, driver side seat. Yeah, we know about that because there is no driver side seat. Driver's airbag igniter. Yep, that's because there's no driver's airbag. I thought this was too good to be true, but actually that's fine, because I actually thought there should be more faults because we haven't put the driver's airbag in. The key switch for airbag shut off, well, that's this here. That's fine. Igniter for interaction airbag, don't know what that is. Driver's side rear seatbelt tensioner resistance too high. Rear seatbelt tensioner. Rear seatbelt. So that's that one back there. So that is plugged in. I can see it. Driver's side is definitely plugged in. Well, let's have a look at that. It might just be sometimes the connectors are not very good. Passenger side rear safety seat belt resistance too high. Okay, I will check those, because those are 2 seat belts that I bought which were supposed to be new. Yeah, we'll just check that and then we'll plug those in again. In fact, let's just clear them and see what comes back. Okay, So let's do those again. Yeah, we've still got the 15 faults. Okay, well, do you know what? The ones what we're seeing here, with the exception of the 2 back seat belts, I'm fine with. So we'll check those and we'll come back and do them again. Good, right. We're going to work on the front of the car now and get the headlights in and get those connected up and see if what works from those headlights. But very good news, at least we can start putting the dashboard together and getting that back. Okay, so now we're going to concentrate on getting our front end sorted. So we need to put this bonnet latch back into place. We've got the cable here attached, so we just need to screw it in. Once we get this in place, this will secure our rad pack here, and it will also allow us to put the headlights in. So we've got all the bits and pieces for the headlights. So there's a headlight bolt there. I need to do the other side there, so we need to extract that from the bumper. But we have those pieces, so we're not really worried about that. So we get all this sorted. I've just put the crash sensor into the bent bar. I'm going to keep saying the bar's bent. See that, guys? Get over it. It's going to stay like that. All right. So all you folks with OCD, live with it. Use this as therapy. Right. We'll screw these back in, then we'll get the headlights in place, then we can take a look and see how we're looking in terms of alignment. Now, I've got the balances in the headlights. So these are all brand new, which means that they will need to be coded, potentially. Yeah, they'll need to be coded. Who am I trying to fool? So new balances are in. Had to do a couple of repairs on the actual edges, and we'll use some metal for that. Here you are. This is one that we repaired, but as you can see, looks like new, you wouldn't tell. Here's another one here that's been repaired as well, and we'll get those in as well, and then this car will begin to start looking like a car. Let's crack on. Okay, so the bonnet now closes down and is pretty much aligned, which is pretty good, and this is in place, and this is firmer, more firmer, which is good. So let's now look at putting the headlights on, see how we get on with those. Okay, bumpers all lined up. Still got to do the gaps, so this side is loose, and as you can see, it's a bit high, but we can sort that out. That's not a problem. I'm going to get the front bumper. I'm going to give it a soft fit to see how she looks in terms of lining up. Let's go and see. Now that, for first fit, is not too bad. There's a little gap here, and there's a gap here, but don't forget, there's a massive gap there, so it's not tight at all. It's literally just sitting here because we haven't got the brackets in place yet. But it was just to make sure that everything kind of measures up and looks almost straight, which is good. And so far, I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, that looks all right. Again, you can see the gaps on the side here, but once the brackets are in place, this will fit lower because the bracket will hold that in line. The same on the other side, so that should be close as well. Here, that's all okay, that's fine. Again, we got a little gap there because the light bar comes right up to that one there, so we're not worried about that. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comments below. This bonnet again, this will move up closer. Yeah, you can see already it's moved up close, and that's not even tight at that side. There's still a big gap there, so again, we're happy with that. So that just goes to show that this car is pretty much in alignment. But I'm glad to see that everything is where it's supposed to be, so that's good. We can take this off now, and we can now concentrate on repairing the wiring. But yeah, pretty happy with that so far. So I think with everything looking good this end, I think we're about ready now to start reassembling the dashboard. So we're going to take the airbag off, which is connected at the moment, and then we'll go and fit that inside of the dashboard, and we'll take off this bits. And not sure if we do the dashboard this episode, but we will certainly get it ready to be done in the next episode for sure. Right, so airbag goes in here. Can't really get this wrong because there's a couple of lugs to make sure that it goes the right way up. And as long as we do it that way, don't force it, it's going to be a cinch. So let's fit that up. See it already, I've got it the wrong way around. And that goes in there, plugs in. Here we go. And then it's literally just 4 nuts to hold it in place. Simple as that. So that's in place, and now we just need to fit it in the car. Okay, so we are starting to make some progress. The car is beginning to look like a car again. A little bit of an update on the seat belts, because obviously those rare seat belts, the codes that came up were concerning, and after doing some further testing and some research, it turns out that those belts have been deployed. So I reached out to the original owner. He said that the car had been in an accident, but the airbags hadn't deployed. But I said to him that because the airbags haven't been deployed, because the car's been in an accident, so something has triggered those rare seat belts. So he's agreed to take them back. But it just goes to show that you've got to be careful what you're buying on eBay, because you got to ask those questions, because he hadn't tested them, and when I did a resistance test, it was a low resistance. So I think they should give you a true RMS reading of around 2.5 to 3. This was like 0.1, so it clearly it gone. So so they're going back, and fortunately I have kept my original seat belt, so I'm going to get those sent off to the airbag team, because I know they're going to repair it properly and get those sent back. And actually it'll be cheaper than the seat belts that I thought were good, so be saving some money there. Still waiting for the other part that I sent back. It's now caught up in customs in Austria and seems to be coming back to me, so I've got to sort that out. So and the reason why I'm telling you this, because you just got to be careful when you're buying bits on eBay, particularly second-hand parts. And actually I should have done my own rule, which is stuff that is life preserving, so things like airbags, buy them new. If you can, buy them new. It's always a safe option. Alright, anyway, enough ranting. If you are a casual subscriber or viewer, and some of you are, in fact the majority of you are, don't forget to click on the subscribe button here and click the bell notification, which will notify you whenever we release a new video. It costs you nothing, but it helps us and beat the YouTube algorithm, which is a pain. So join us next week, where we will be putting the dashboard back in the car and getting the car, or removing a lot more codes, and hopefully I'm waiting for a part to arrive so that we can remove the crash shutdown data that's in the car, because you need to use ODIS online for that. So I'm going to be using my my friend Baz for that, from VAG specialist, coding specialist. So that should be good, and at least we can get those wheels moving and get the car in the garage so we can do some more work. Right, that's it. See you next week. Have a good one.